Buzz. Arguing for the end of adult marijuana prohibition is easy because we have facts, science, reason, compassion, evidence, truth, and logic on our side. It is even easier when researchers catalog it all for us. Learn how to gather the facts on marijuana use, arrests, seizures, rehabs, drug tests, and more in this edition of Drug War Data Mining. Welcome back, everyone. 23 after the hour. In the Data Mines today, we take a look at the magazine Inc., INC, Incorporated, which follows all things financial. And in today's Drug War Data Mine, we're taking a look at how much money has been invested in marijuana in just the past couple of years. Over the past 2 fiscal years, in fact, investors have spent $104.5 million to gobble up stakes in cannabis and cannabis-related companies. This is according to the research firm CB Insights. And just for another shocking statistics, in 2014, the funding for the marijuana industry grew 941.5%. Wow. Folks, if you don't think that legalization is inevitable, this to me points to its inevitability. With 9 figures worth of money being poked at marijuana, and it's only legal in 2 states so far, hasn't officially become legal in Alaska until February 24th, not officially illegal in Oregon until July 1st. That just tells us that if 2 states can get $100 million in interest, what are 4 states going to do? What are 8 states going to do? What is going to happen once California gets on board? That much money looking to be invested, looking to be made, the profits that would come from it are some of the best political capital we could hope for in the marijuana movement. Money talks, and although I know many of us are concerned about the corporatization of weed, the Walmartization of weed, hey, it wasn't legal for 40 years without the big money. If it takes the big money to get people switched over to marijuana legalization, if it takes big money investment to get the government to stop throwing our brothers and sisters in jail over this, then I'm all for it. Here are some of the big players we all know about Privateer Holdings. Privateer Holdings, of course, is the brand behind Leafly, the Yelp of marijuana, if you want to call it that. Tilray, which is a medical marijuana farm up in Canada. And, of course, Marley Natural, the new brand of marijuana they're going to attempt to sell with the Marley family. Well, Peter Thiel, one of the first investors in Facebook, he's got a private hedge fund called Founders Fund. Well, they took part in $75 million worth of fundraising that Privateer just was able to successfully complete. And in addition to the $75 million that Privateer has raised, $20 million has been raised by PharmaCann. They're a Chicago-based group of medical marijuana cultivation centers. Leafline Labs is a Minnesota medical marijuana company. They raised $12.4 million. And Steve D'Angelo, the co-founder of the ArcView Group, which is kind of a network of angel investors for marijuana, said that ArcView has brokered a total of $17 million in deals with 34 companies since it launched in 2010. That's an average of average of $500,000, $500,000 for each company. Not bad at all. And as these companies grow in stature, they grow in profits, more and more companies are going to want to get involved. And the more Wall Street is involved in marijuana, the safer it becomes from the predators in Congress like Charles Grassley and Dianne Feinstein that want to shut it down. Money talks, folks, and it really speaks loudly when we're talking about politics. According to D'Angelo, quote, "In the beginnings of this industry, our biggest challenges were legal, but we solved many of those challenges. After we figured out the legal landscape, many of our challenges were financial to help scale up and professionalize the business. Today, investment is not really a problem. If you have a good team and a good idea, you're in a good position. There is a phenomenal amount of investment interest," end quote. And again, like I said, this is the best news I think that we could hope for in the marijuana movement. The key now is for us as marijuana consumers to band together and make sure that these companies that evolve are shaped to represent the needs of the cannabis consumers, not necessarily just their needs to make a bunch of money off of us. That is why I felt it was important to form Portland NORML, and that's why I'd encourage anyone out there who wants to help shape the marijuana industry to get involved, either join or form their own local NORML chapter. I can give you all of the information you need. I can give you all the help that you might want. I can answer questions. Just email me, portlandnormal@gmail.com. So in addition to the $100 million that's been invested in marijuana over the last 2 years, we're also seeing companies that are ancillary to the marijuana business, not directly involved with marijuana, but those that provide packaging and staffing and lighting and so many of the needs that the marijuana industry is going to require. I've met so many of these great people in Seattle with the Marijuana Business Association, met them in Florida at the Meet the Experts Conference. There'll be plenty of them at the International Cannabis Business Conference this February 15th and 16th in San Francisco. We'll be bringing you coverage from there. But folks, get ready because we're all in this transition together, moving from activists fighting for legalization to consumers fighting for equalization. So we're going to have to learn a little bit more about the financial markets, how finances work, how IPOs and stock offerings and all of that stuff works, and maybe a little less about what the laws are as they are now starting to go our way. Let's hope that we can keep these companies in check and they